What you're looking at behind me is what I'd like to call Plan B. This was Hezekiah's wall. It was a very broad wall, and they call it the broad wall here. Very tall wall, in fact. It was probably about 30 feet tall. You could race a chariot along the top, theoretically. It was thick. And it was made out of people's houses, eminent domain, when Hezekiah heard that the Assyrians were coming. And then he had this wall built in order to fend them off. What's interesting is that he didn't have to. Of course, the Lord said he would protect Hezekiah. He had the temple. He was obeying the Lord. He had Isaiah the prophet who was speaking to him and saying, it's going to be okay. What does Hezekiah do? I believe you. And then he builds this huge wall, tearing down people's houses and building this thing up. He reroutes the water source of Jerusalem to go 577 yards in a different direction, getting prepared for an enormous siege that the Assyrians would produce. 250,000 soldiers heading his way. Of course, an army that size with sieges along the way moves very, very slowly. So he had time to prepare, but not much. Well, in the end, Sennacherib's army surrounds Jerusalem. The captain of the guard, Rabshakeh, reads a declaration in the language of the people that blasphemes the name of the Lord, that puts down Hezekiah and makes him a very small and feeble man in their eyes and their words. And all that Hezekiah can do is stand there and listen to this horrible thing being read. And Isaiah the prophet was there too. And when all was done, the letter was handed to Hezekiah, and then he tore his clothes. And then he and Isaiah went into the temple and laid it out on the altar before the Lord. And then the Lord spoke, and in essence said, through Isaiah the prophet, don't worry about these guys. I know where they live. I'll take care of them. Go get a good night's sleep. And when they woke up in the morning, outside this wall, out of bowshot, but outside this wall in that direction, 185,000 dead Assyrians. The angel of the Lord came through their camp that night and killed them all. Hey, listen, when you find that you're surrounded by a siege and things are really tough, just remember that God didn't call us to do Plan B. He called us to Plan A, whatever that is that he told you to do, and mainly to trust him. And then lay these things out before the Lord on the altar and go home and get a good night's sleep. God works with Plan A if we let him. And Plan B, man, that's a lot of work. And when you're done, you're left with a monument of a wall like the one we have behind me, or the tunnel that Hezekiah made that rerouted the water. That was a colossal project. There it is. God bless you, and we'll talk to you again soon.